Want to welcome everyone to the channel. You're watching Texas Silver. I know I've been promising this video for a long time. Reason I waited is I knew that this trip to Alabama, I was going to pick up a handful of subs, and I did. I just want to thank everyone for coming over from Jeremiah and Enrique's channel, or if you just stumbled across my channel, I appreciate you being here. I think I gained 500-600 subs during that week. So I know I've been promising this video. Here it is finally, but that's another reason why I pushed it off, because I knew this trip was coming, and I made a video right when I started the channel like this, but I kind of went off the cuff. This time I've actually taken notes, so bear with me if I keep looking down and it feels maybe choppy, but I took notes not because I don't know my life story, but I figured if I didn't put notes that I would skip over or forget something that I wanted to cover. So again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all the support. And again, if you're just seeing this, go back, check out Jeremiah Babe, Enrique Reacts, and my channel. We put out a bunch of videos over the last week and a half with the trip to Alabama. But enough about that. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. So this video is about my life, the main highlights from my childhood as a young kiddo until where we are today. So that's what this video is about. I guess the reason why I wanted to put this video out is, you know, people that come across the channel or watch other channels, you never really know the individual's background, and not that it's really anyone's business, but I'm an open book. I've been an open book. I've got nothing to hide. I'm very transparent as much as I can be. There are certain things I'm not going to talk about on this channel, and we'll go over that later. But I just figure that, you know, y'all may want to know these things. That way maybe you understand some more stuff, or just, I don't know, just so you know who I am. I'm not trying to validate myself, but just like, who is this guy? Why does he have a channel? And, you know, what qualifies him to talk about this stuff, I guess. So, but anyway, so I'm going to get started with my notes and go down this. And again, I'm reading off my screen because I don't want to forget or skip anything. So if it seems kind of choppy, that's why. But so I wasn't born in Texas. I was actually born in Arizona. My family moved to the South Austin area in Texas when I was a little older than 3. And I grew up in that house, same house, and that my mom actually still lives in today. But I grew up there and went to high school there, graduated from there, and all that. But as a young kiddo, I loved to be outdoors. I was in the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, actually became an Eagle Scout. So that's where some of my first aid training and survival skills and all that were learned. I've always loved the outdoors and all that stuff. So also growing up, we were in church Sunday morning, Sunday church. So Sunday school, Sunday church, Sunday evenings, and Wednesday night, religiously. Pretty much every week, every once in a while, if we had something going on, we'd be allowed to miss, but it was rare. So I was raised in the Baptist church. I am a Christian. I do believe in God. And if that offends you, sorry, not sorry. I'm not going to preach to you on this channel, but yes, I am a Christian. I believe in God. And I believe Jesus died for my sins, and that's that. But so, again, I'm not going to preach on this channel, but just wanted to put that out there. Growing up, I thought we were poor, or my family was poor. Come to find out, we were actually pretty well off, but my parents lived very frugally. They gave us an allowance. We had chores. But that's kind of where my money management skills came from. We, as young kids, learned at a very young age not to ask for anything because the answer was going to be no. So I was taught at a very young age to save my money, which is, I know now is fiat, if I wanted a bike or rollerblades or whatever. So again, at a very young age, I learned the value of a dollar, and that's ironic, but learned the value of working hard and saving and buying what you want. So I guess at a very young age, I've always been interested in finances. I don't know why. No one ever sat me down and was like, hey, Aaron, this is how financial system works. This is how, and I wish someone had. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I try to tell my kiddos as much as they'll listen to me so they kind of understand this. They understand gold and silver somewhat. But so I remember as a teenager riding to high school with my neighbor across the street with his dad, him and my other buddy. There was three of us that would ride to school, and my two buddies would be in the back playing grab ass or whatever. And I would sit there and pick my buddy's dad's brain on finances, investing, and all that. So I've always enjoyed finances. I don't know why. Most people think it's boring. For some reason, I've always enjoyed it. So anyway, so we'll get into that. So at the age of 14, and the reason why I bring this up is there were some comments, and generally I know y'all are going to say don't worry about the trolls, but no, I bring this up because I want everyone to know how I came to where I am today. And that's fine. The trolls, they don't bother me. I think it's funny, but maybe this will shut some of their mouths. But at 14 years old, I got a job. I worked at a dog kennel, scrubbing kennels, picking up dog crap. I was one of the richest little 14-year-olds running around. But since the age of 14, I started paying for pretty much everything. I bought my first vehicle. I paid for my gas, my insurance, my clothes. My parents obviously put a roof over my head and food in my stomach, but for the most part, I paid for everything. So I've never been handed anything. Everything that I have today, I've made from my own sacrifices and hard work. But pretty much I have been unemployed, or I have not been unemployed since I was 14 years old. I've talked about this on the channel. I'm just going to touch on it very briefly, but at the age of 14, my sister that was 17 at the time, her and her boyfriend were killed by a drunk driver in the Austin area. So yeah, that had a big impact on my life, to have someone that is so close to you taken so tragically and unexpected. So I had to grow up, felt like I had to grow up at a prematurely than what I should have. So I kind of feel like, I don't want to say, I'm not trying to get pity here, but my life changed drastically after that event. Life was never the same. Holidays still to this day are not the same. I love her. I miss her dearly. And it's just a hard part of my life, and also that my family had to go through. So at probably about the age of 10, 11, 12, something like that, for some reason, I just knew that I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be in law enforcement. I had no one in my family that was law enforcement, didn't know anything about it. The owner of the dog kennel at the time was APD, and I kind of asked him, some stuff. But I was convinced that that's what I wanted to do. My parents never talked to me about going to college, never pushed me to go to college, never mentioned it. There was one point that I talked to, I don't even know who it was or how this, but anyways, I think it was a student loan program. I talked to my dad about it, and he was just like, yeah, we're not doing that. So I was like, okay, well, if I want to be a cop, either I got to go to school, which my parents aren't really seeming to support, or whatever. I guess I got to figure this out on my own, or go to the military, which already was appealing to me. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL originally. Well, I was in high school, and I was a teacher's aide, and here walks in the Marine recruiter, and he's like, hey son, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? Have you thought about the military? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a Navy SEAL. And he's like, well, do you mind if I talk to you about what the Marines are and what they're about and all that? And I was like, Kind of like, yeah, dude, whatever. Give me your spiel. I didn't know anything about the military. I knew Navy SEALs were bad MFers, and I wanted to be a bad MFer, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do. Kind of knew what the Army was, knew what the Air Force was, the Coast Guard, but I'd never had anyone in my immediate family that was in the military. So I was completely clueless, had no idea what the Marines were, Marine Corps, any of that, the history, any of that. So anyways, he sat me down, and after probably about a 20-minute talk, he had me convinced that I want to be a United States Marine. So at the age of 18, I enlisted, went straight out of high school, went to MCRD San Diego, did my boot camp there, and I went to Camp Pendleton to do my basic, my SOI, School of Infantry. I became an assaultman, 0351, which is in the infantry. So I was a basic rifleman, but then I had a specialty of rockets and missiles that are fired off your shoulder to kill tanks and bunkers, and also demolition. So I was trained in all that. Apparently 0351s no longer exist. They got rid of us. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, how I feel about that. But anyways, my MOS apparently now does not exist. But got stationed in Camp Lejeune at 1-2 Alpha Company. And directly after getting there, I did mountain warfare training up in Bridgeport, California, where it was -30 at night, and learned cold weather training up in the mountains. And that was an experience for me. Shortly after that, we got sent to Okinawa. We did a deployment over there. That's when 9/11 happened. They sent us to Guam to protect the Air Force and naval bases down in Guam, because I guess they didn't have the firepower and the resources that we did to I guess secure the base. So we went there. Also, we went to Camp Fuji in mainland Japan. I went to 29 Palms, California, also with 1-2 to do what's called a CAX, and it's just a big joint military exercise out in the desert. It's miserable out there. It's freaking super hot. My plan was, oh, scratch that. Let me look at my notes. In 2003, I got sent to Kuwait. We went by ship and didn't know what was going on at the time. And, we found out that we were going to invade Iraq. And all of us were kind of confused, or at least I was. I was like, hold on. We got attacked by Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. What's in Iraq? We're not going to get into all that, but just to let you know. So my unit was the first unit into Iraq. We took the 2 bridges at the Euphrates River. I was part of Task Force Tara. Still 1-2 Alpha Company. If you want, look that up on YouTube. There is videos out about it, or you can Google it. But pretty much that was the bloodiest battle that the Marine Corps had been in since Vietnam. Let me get my numbers straight, but I believe it was 18 killed and 15 wounded. So it was a 3.5-hour battle. Lost some close buddies of mine over there. But yeah, that was that. Came back from that. I did miss this, but before we went over, I think I was probably 19. I guess the unit recognized that I was very proficient with rifle and pistol, and they sent me to become a coach for the rifle and pistol battalion. So I was one of the coaches for the battalion. After we got back from Iraq, they put me on the battalion shooting team, rifle, pistol shooting team. So I had never really been exposed to firearms. I'd shot a .22 as a kid, but there was not one gun in my house growing up. So my love for firearms and all the training has come from the Marine Corps on. That's who taught me how to shoot, was the Marine Corps. Let's see. All right, got a funny story. So My plan was to get out of the Marines at that point, but I was told that there was an opening in Houston, I&I duty, which is instructor, what is that? Instructor staff in, it's been 20 years, in Houston. And they said, we can get you out this month. And I was like, I can get back to Texas, stay in the Marine Corps, bet, sign me up. So at that point, I re-enlisted, and in the end of 2003, moved to Houston for 123, which is up here. Alpha Company training reservist. I was still in the infantry, but I was the active duty personnel that was there. And sorry, this is going to be a pretty long video. Hopefully I don't bore y'all with this, but so anyways, when I re-enlisted, this was the funny story. The Navy doc, he said, all right, well, we got to do a physical assessment on you, and I got to ask you some questions. I'm like, all right, cool, have at it. So he's like, I need to document how much alcohol you drink. And I was like, well, I don't drink alcohol. And he was like, and you're a Marine? And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, okay. Tobacco use. How much tobacco do you use a day or whatever? I said, I don't use tobacco. And he's like, and you're a Marine? I was like, yes, sir. And so then he goes, all right, let me guess. You don't have any tattoos? And I said, no, sir. He goes, get the f out of here. You're not a Marine. And I was like, yes, sir, I'm a Marine. I just, in the Marine Corps, I was all, like, I knew I was there. I was there to get weapons training, all that, because I wanted to be in law enforcement. So now, yes, today I do have tattoos, but I didn't get my first tattoo until I was in my 30s out of the Marine Corps. It's not that I didn't want them at the time, but I just felt I had more important things to spend it on, and I didn't really know exactly what I wanted at the time. I didn't want to get the typical USMC stuff. I wanted something that was well thought out and good artwork and all that. But so anyway, so I re-enlisted, went to Houston. I bought my first house. I think I was 21 years old. Owned my first house. So I bought that in 2003, end of 2003, very beginning of 2004. Then right when I got there, no one had been to Iraq. I thought Iraq was over. And the gunny, when I get there, said, hey, you ready to go back to Iraq? Because they knew I had been. And I was like, do what? And he's like, yeah, we're being activated. And I was like, sweet. So I did my second combat tour to Iraq with 123 Alpha Company. We didn't take the casualties. Actually, I don't think we took any casualties. I know the battalion did, but I don't think our company took one casualty. I think we had some wounded, but no KIA. I loved my duty in Houston. It was a very proud time that I served. I'm proud of my combat tours, but also another duty that we're tasked with I&I duty is doing the funerals for those Marines that were killed overseas and just retirees that passed away. So I can't tell you how many I did. One is more than I wanted to do, but I did too many to count. But I was part of the team that would do the full military honors funeral for the Marines that were killed overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan. We would show up at the airport. We would take possession of the casket off the plane, and we would stay with that Marine until he or she went to their final resting place. We were very good, very tight unit. We didn't allow just anyone to do it. And we were good, and I think that we did a very, very good, we did a very good job in honoring these fallen Marines. There were a handful of admin personnel that were there. It was all of us grunts, infantry guys that would do it, and I guess since we had been overseas and done all that stuff, I guess we took it more serious. And I hate to say this, but some of them, I don't think liked doing them. I felt it was an honor, and it was the least that I could do for these gentlemen that paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country and for us. But so that's that. After I got back from that, I got sent to it was Combat Marksman Firearms Instructor course, and that's where I really kind of picked up my close quarters battle marksmanship skills. Again, I learned to handle firearms in the Marine Corps. Shortly after that, I decided I was going to get out, and I wanted to do my law enforcement dream that I had set out to do since I was very young. And I joined I feel the best agency in Texas. I'm not going to name the agency. They have a pretty strict social media policy, and there'll be a day where I can talk about all this, but I prefer just to leave it out. I have nothing but positive to say about this agency. Again, it is the best agency in Texas, in my opinion. I'm very proud of this agency and everything that I've done with this agency. Reason I also bring this up is there was a comment, I don't remember I think it was actually on my video, and I generally don't get negative comments, but this one I feel needs to be addressed. But it said that us three, me, Enrique, and JB, are full-time YouTubers, and that we're losers and this and that and the other. No, I love putting out these videos, but this is not what I do for a living. I've always busted my butt to have everything that I have, and YouTube's just kind of like a side gig for me. I do it when I can, when I have time. My job now is very demanding. I work a minimum 50 hours a week, and sometimes up to 80 to 100 hours. And that's why a lot of times my video output is not consistent. I also love to wake surf, and I'm also going to address this too. I don't even know why this even matters, why people would bring this up, but not so much me, but it's always JB. But look, myself, Enrique, and JB, we all have lovely women in our lives. They don't come onto the channel because either they don't want to come on the channel, or because they want to be private and not air that. I don't know why some people feel the need that we need to bring our significant others onto the show. That's just ignorant, and let's grow up. But anyways, no, I have a beautiful woman in my life, and I'm very lucky to have her. And honestly, if I were to bring her on the show, the guys on this channel probably wouldn't even want to see my face anymore. She is a very stunning woman. But anyways, enough about that. Also went to Kenya, and that's why I did this notes. Went to Kenya, did some training there with the Kenyan military when I was in. Sold my house in Houston at the top of the market in 2007. Walked away with a pretty penny. Shortly after, we know what happened in 07, 08. There was the big crash. So I was sitting on a decent amount of cash, and my dad, is a pretty big investor. And I was like, Dad, because I didn't know anything about investing or anything like that. I had just heard that the market had crashed. And I was like, hey, should I invest? And he's like, yeah, I would. And so I had a bunch of fiat that I had saved in the military, and that I made from the sale of this house. And I doubled that money very quickly in the market because I bought in at the bottom. So I rented for a couple years because I think interest rates at the time maybe weren't good. I don't remember why, or maybe I just couldn't find what I was wanting. But anyways, 2009, I came across my current place, this ranch, and picked it up for peanuts because the real estate market had been devastated. I guess I probably didn't buy two because at the time the prices were super high. So I waited till they came low, pretty much bought at the bottom, and that's how I picked up this place. And in fiat dollars, this place is probably tripled or quadrupled compared to what I paid for it. Okay, so back to my law enforcement stuff. So in my current agency, I'm an instructor. So I have been a firearms instructor since I was 19 years old. So I am very proficient. So anytime that I talk about these tools, not saying I know everything, but firearms are my second religion. I am very proficient, and I'm very good. I normally don't toot my horn, but I'll put myself up against probably 99% of this country when it comes to firearm skills. In 2008, we know what happened in 2008 and what administration was in there. So at that point, honestly, I didn't really pay attention to politics. At the time I was in the military, and from 2000 to 07, I was in the military, so I didn't really pay attention to the news. I guess I don't know, I didn't care. I was ignorant. I don't know. But anyways, in 2008, one of my good buddies, I had just graduated the academy, and one of my good buddies was like, dude, you better start buying, tools, because, the administration's going to take them away. And I was like, what? Huh? What? So at that point, I started to become very concerned with our Second Amendment rights and semi-autos and all that stuff. So my goals turned to buying as many of these boomsticks and freedom seeds as I could. And that's pretty much what I did with any extra fiat I had. At the time, I felt a couple people had mentioned it, like my uncle, and I'd see videos here and there, and I'm like, why would you buy gold and silver? Like lead and copper and these things. Like, why lead and brass? Why do you're dumb. Gold and silver, give me a break. Well, I don't remember exactly what video it was, but I ended up watching a video in 2016, and I was always concerned of some sort of civil war or something like that, or them going door to door taking these things. And I watched a video that kind of opened my eyes to the financial system, and I went down a very deep rabbit hole. And I made my first metals purchase in 2016. I went to Texas Precious Metals. Great company. I've bought a lot of their Texas stuff. I love their Texas bars and rounds. Actually, I have a link, or not a link, but I talk about them in my description if you want to purchase from them. Very trusted company. But at the time, what worried me is I wanted to buy this stuff, but I didn't know who to buy from. So a secretary that I worked with, she said, well, my dad buys from Texas Precious Metals. I was like, okay. So I was able to go in person and get the warm and fuzzy, because that was my biggest thing, is like, who do I buy from? Who do I trust? How do I know, what I'm buying? Is it real? So anyways, Texas Precious Metals, first purchase, I bought a handful of their Texas rounds, and that began my journey. And I've just been stacking silver as quickly and as much as I could since 2016. And just watching videos, and I was clueless. I had no idea how the financial system worked. I didn't understand the Fed. I didn't understand LBMA, COMEX. All these terms were foreign to me. And one channel that I can say really helped me understand all this was Greg Manorino. Go check out his channel. It's a he's eccentric sometimes, a little overboard, but he's very intelligent. I don't follow his channel as religiously as I used to, but I remember watching his channel in the very beginning, and I was just like, it was like listening to a second language. And now I understand everything that he's talking about, but it takes time to learn all these terms, because no one ever sits you down generally and is like, hey, this is how the financial system works. But so in 2017 is when I started watching Jeremiah Babe's channel, and I really liked his demeanor, his values. He's very well spoken, and I was like, man, I really like this dude, really like this channel. And so at some point I reached out to him. I sent him a message. I think a friend requested him on Facebook, and then I messaged him, and we started talking, and the rest is history. He now is, if not my best friend, one of my best friends. I have a lot of really good dudes, solid dudes in my life, and Jeremiah definitely is one of them. But I invited Jeremiah, so this is how we became friends. I invited him out to the ranch. He came out in 2019, and we made some videos that are on his channel. I think he ended up coming back, I think it was 2021 or 2022, but we made videos again. And there was a bunch of comments in the comment section on his channel saying that I needed to have a channel. I never thought about having a channel. I was like, why would I have a channel? What would I talk about? So there was enough comments. I was like, fine, screw it. I'm going to start a channel. And so that's when Texas Silver was born. And I chose Texas Silver because I'm proud to be Texas citizen. I'm a Texan over an American. Texan comes first, then America. I love this state. I love this country. But yeah, I'm a Texan first. And I love silver. And so that's where Texas Silver came from. All right, so I just checked on my notes again just to keep me on track. So the channel was started in 2021. And again, just know that this is not my stream of income. The channel is monetized, but I mean, this channel has probably cost me money. So again, to the naysayers that say that I'm a loser and all I do is YouTube and I don't know anything. No, I have a very extensive work history, and it's hard work. It's not a desk job, and so there's that. Y'all can kiss my butt on that one. Let's see. So the reason why I do this channel though is because at first I was like, why am I doing this channel? Why am I special? I don't know anything. I'm just like, the person on my left and right. And just over time, I've realized, I guess I do know a lot about the metal space. I do have the military background, first aid background and all that. So a lot of times, I guess I think what I know is common knowledge, and I guess it's not. So I normally get really positive comments in the comment section, and I greatly appreciate them. 99.9% of y'all are freaking amazing, and I love y'all. And I don't get a lot of negative comments, if any. I think I got maybe one or two with the videos with Jeremiah, but I think those were because Jeremiah was in my videos. For some reason, people just have an issue with him. I don't get it. He is a stand-up guy. He's a man of his word. He walks the walk. He's a great dude, great American. He loves his country. He is a great family man. He loves animals. Like, I don't have anything negative to say about Jeremiah except for that, he's very stubborn and headstrong, which, can be good and bad at times. But besides that, I have nothing negative to say about Jeremiah. He's a great dude. He built his channel from the ground up. And, my hat's off to him. There's a lot of fake channels out there that buy views and subs and all that stuff. And Jeremiah doesn't. He didn't have anyone give him shout outs or anything like that. He built his channel organic. And I am very grateful and thankful for him for all the support he's given me for pushing me to do this channel. Also, he's the one that pushed me to do jiu-jitsu, and I love it, and I'm thankful that he pushed me to do that as well. Again, I'm not here for the money. Maybe once I retire, I have 6 or 7 years to go, then maybe I'll do these videos more full-time, but I just want everyone to understand why I don't kick out videos like Jeremiah does. I have a very demanding schedule. Also, I have kiddos. I forgot to mention that. Their mother and I are no longer together, but she is a very wonderful mother. She and I just didn't work out, and I'm not going to go into all that. It's not important, but you know, the kiddos know that I love them, and I'm very involved as much as I can be in their lives, and I'm definitely not raising wiener kids. They run around, they shoot, they fish. You know, they're outside kids, they're country kids, and they've actually been on my channel. Haven't had them on the channel in a while, but yeah, I do have kiddos. Let's see. All right, I have one other thing that I want to address, and there was a comment on my last video, and the only reason why I'm going to address this is because I am the furthest from this, but they said something about me being a part of the New World Order. It was the last video that I made on my surf boat, but I'm going to go ahead and stand to show the gesture. But at the time, my hands were like this, and in the academy, this was called the interview stance. And why they have us do this is because it's quick access to your gun, or if you need to fight someone off, and it's non-threatening. So the way I was sitting on the cooler, my hands were sitting between my legs, and it's just natural for me to do this. I've been doing this for 18 years, stopping cars. But it's called the interview stance. So I normally stand like this, and it's just a habit of mine, but I guess it was like this. I don't even know what this gal was talking about, if they're even a real person. But grow up. Served this country. I still serve this country to this day. I serve this state. I'm not part of the New World Order. Yeah, I'd be lying if that didn't upset me a little bit, because I know who I am and what I stand for. And yeah, that person can go F themselves. But anyways, that's why my hands were like that. I don't even know what this guy was even talking about. I don't even know how that's a New World Order symbol. But anyways, he's a jackass, she's a jackass. Anyways, I might have missed one or two things, but that's who I am. That's where I come from. That's my background. That's my training. That's what I do for a living. That's my life, the highlights in a nutshell. And hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Sorry it was super long, but that's pretty much my life story. Thank you so much for being here, for being patient with me. I'm not gonna promise when I kick out these videos I'm done doing that, because I try to be a man of my word, and I don't want to tell you I'm gonna do one a week or two a week. I'll put them out at my pace. No, I'm not gonna give up on the channel, but if I fall off the map, it's because I've got stuff going on. I have a life outside of YouTube. A very good life. I'm very blessed. I'm thankful to the Lord for blessing me, for blessing my kids. And I'm very thankful and grateful also that He led me to be woken up to know this stuff. Because let's be real, 99% of the country doesn't know what we know. If you follow this channel, you pretty much know everything that I talk about. Maybe not. But you definitely, if you're here, you're aware that something is not right and you're looking for answers. So I applaud you for being here. But again, all thanks, glory to God for blessing me and everything that I've been able to accomplish, everything that I have today. I am very blessed and I'm very thankful. And I'm very proud, but I'm also humble. Because I think I have lived a pretty good life, a pretty honorable life. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I've done things I'm not proud of, but I'm a sinner. All of us are. but I always strive to do better, be better, and I don't know. All right, I'm rambling. I'm going to leave it at that. God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here, supporting, sharing the videos, liking, subscribing, commenting. And until the next one, Texas Silver, out.